What's up, my friends? How are we doing? I hope everyone's doing blessedly. It's time to do another channeling. Been putting much thought into this. This is being done on Thursday about 11 a.m. And there's little information about the Anunnaki. How many, what they were, what was the purpose, who they were, what they were. You know, our history is so amazing compared to what we have now. You know, there's gods and tombs, pharaohs, Roman empires, Roman gods. It's like all these channels to our universe were opened up so much wider than they are now. To have a being or a hybrid or someone just be out in the open with all these fantastic powers of levitation and mind powers and telekinesis and creative sources to help build civilizations with technologies 10,000 years before time, with channels and landscaping and irrigation, monuments, pyramids. You know, all this is just so fascinating. And at times, what I hope to do here is find some of that history, like I did with what I was getting about Atlantis and Lemuria and other sources. And I hope to have a continuing series about many mysteries. Last summer I channeled the Greek god Hermes, which was really interesting. Very similar to like angel work, working in coordination with other angels and gods and archangels and everything, trying to move this planet and us forward. So let's get into it. Please show me and tell me who the Anunnaki are. The Anunnaki were similar to what you would call a fallen angel. But their substance was not of all higher good. There was a devil side to them, a greed, power, use of slavery, to do their own kind of bidding, of like extortion and use of the human species for their own selfish desires. They were not of human source. They were hard to explain. They were manipulated, a manipulated band of a group of extraterrestrials. They presented themselves as human through manipulation of cells. Like they took over human bodies and made it their own. They had to hide through their dress, like robes and hats, and cover for what they truly were. There was like figures or extensions of their body that they needed to hide. There wasn't many of them. Almost consider them like a parliament of government. They had like a cathedral built for them. So we're talking here in Mesopotamia, which is that area of India up into Pakistan, but centrally located so they can be housed. While they were earthbound here, they needed crystals, minerals, gold and silver and copper. They needed to absorb that earth energy to function properly on earth for their manipulation of people and that mind control to create slavery for mining purposes to take back to their own planet. they weren't always evil sources. I'm getting they were only around for like 500 years because they were judged. They came down as an illusion of prosperous leaders. People are afraid of them because of their powers and what they could do. It made them want to worship. But as the years went on, the people were evolving to a point where they wanted to fight back. The slavery ideas and negative aspects that affected everyone within these civilizations there, tribes, and other sects that were looking to expand their knowledge and expand their spirituality to become greater people, were fighting it back against the Anunnaki. So what I'm getting is there was like 12 to 18 at any given point. They needed to be banished. They manipulated and fooled even our source creator in what their purpose was. So in like the last 100 years of their reign, which can be described as terror later on, because of the horrible treatment of the people, there were other extraterrestrial people coming down that were of the loving nature to try to infiltrate the Anunnaki to make them be banished. So more of it became like a spiritual war. I'm getting more Palladian type energy here than any others, but there was like a war going on spiritually, kind of like a fifth dimensional battle to remove these. Many of these sects, like the Sumerians, rejected their teachings later on. Like I said, they started out very helpful. They started out godlike and as teachers. to help build civilizations and build structures and technologies of healing and growth. Agriculture. Giving small hints of what a future can be like. But secretly, there was a mission beyond what the normal people have seen. So, like I said, there was a battle on Earth and in a spiritual way to remove these people, to remove these entities of power. Through their mind, with telekinesis, and it was basically mind control. It drove a lot of people kind of mad because of the rejection of not feeling like free people. But in the end, they were banished away and not to come back. The Anunnaki's lives were shortened, of not the normal 1,200 years or so of the extraterrestrial life. For one, being on Earth constantly like that took a lot of energy, and it reduced their life expectancy. For one. So there was rotational gods. Those beings were rotated. That's why I feel there was 18 or so, but maybe 12 were constantly earthbound to create their agenda. They were sneaky because when they were in their other dimensional realm, they kind of hid. So the other powers that be of greater warmth, of that Palladian energy, couldn't find them. Kind of like a maze type structure within a dark, almost want to say a housing complex, but it's dark. It kind of feels like it was creative energy that trapped doors, hidden things, so like they could rejuvenate for a certain time in order to come back. But it kept them secure, almost like a vampire going into um, a coffin to hide and rejuvenate. But eventually they were banished and sent back to their home planet to face their own kind of justice. These Anunnaki do not exist today in that kind of sorts. Those entities of those reptilian draconian types that created this illusion of Anunnaki, it did seem to start making their way back to Earth in the 1800s on. As on Earth, that general galactic rule of free will still exists. But eventually, those of this negative aspects agenda were taken away. It takes time, because they can use their own powers of telekinesis and mind control back at other entities. So you might say it's a mind battle, along with somewhat physical. There was greed and power within all these extraterrestrial races. It's just not just on Earth. With the last century, or two, there's been a greater alignment within all extraterrestrial races. That the negative energy of greed and power and manipulation must cease. Kind of like a council of law. Like there's this great council that put together all these laws and agreed upon. Not necessarily on paper, but it's like a nod, gentleman's agreement. Because many battles have been fought before within other dimensions and lost lives and bloodshed. They figured out that it was not worthy, where you can work together and become a race of one. It's what humans will eventually figure it out, that we are all one people. The color does not matter. If we have a horn, it doesn't matter. If we have a tail, it doesn't matter. That we can live in peace throughout the whole universe and on this collective consciousness we call Earth. Many sources are binding together Earth energy, the sun's energy, other planetary energy, raising consciousness of select people on Earth, and the angels and extraterrestrial entities that are in our other dimensions are all working in unison for a greater good. We shall see this happening. It won't happen right away. The movement is quicker. "10 more years. The greater movement will be 10 more years. In a hopeful completion. In about 22 years. 20, 22 to 28. It depends how rapid we could move. The 2050 seems very plausible. With the greatest expansion going to quickly to 2032. There needs to be a turnaround yet of soul reincarnation. These of the older generation turnaround will become new children of light. The awakening is happening in the children of today. So more energy can be focused on the adults that missed that movement of birth of star children and extraordinary ones that are already open. So you're looking at the 40 to 60-year-olds that we're trying to awaken now. To be more aligned with the younger generation that is coming up, more spiritually evolved. So the hopes are, within 10 years, the planet will be on the mend. And remove the dark cloud she has been accumulating for the last 60 years. We send love and light to you. And know that you're growing in ways you don't even realize yet. Believe in your own power because you have it. Your life is somewhat of a mirage. Yes, you have existence, but your soul is eternal and you have more inside you that you know. Your heart carries your existence and make it a happy one. For that is what makes us ascend. Be blessed. Hello, I'm back. Well, I hope that was a fun journey for y'all. Let's make it happen. Interesting story. All right, gotta go.